Good morning and welcome to this meeting of the VOWH General Licensing Committee. I'm Councillor Batstone and I will be chairing this meeting. This meeting is being held at our office in Abbey House, Arrington. Voting members are here in person as required, but officers and public speakers are able to join remotely if they wish through Microsoft Teams. The meeting is being streamed live on the Council's YouTube channel for public viewing. I say three procedural matters. I might skip them. In fact, in the unlikely event that a voting member has not heard all the speakers and debate, the member must inform the chair. Where this is the case, they should not propose a motion, participate in the debate, or vote on the application. Those joining remotely when you're not speaking, please ensure that your microphone is muted and your camera is off. If you share a presentation on the screen, please stop sharing as soon as it is not needed. Public, I don't think we have any public speakers. If councillors wish to ask a question or participate in the debate, please raise your hand. I have 4 housekeeping announcements. Evacuation procedure, since we're all councillors, I think I won't go through the evacuation procedure because you know it. Please can everybody ensure that their mobile phones, telephones and any office and other devices are switched to silent during the meeting. When the meeting is ended, I will ask for confirmation the live stream has ended. At that point, please leave the virtual meeting. If you're joining remotely or making your way out of the building, remembering to sign out as you leave. Do we have any apologies for absence?
We do from Councillor Paul Bad.
Committee is asked to adopt and agree for me to sign as a correct record the minutes of the committee meeting on 23rd of May 2024. Please could I have a proposer to adopt them as a correct record? Thank you, Councillor. And a seconder? Thank you. Could I ask for a vote? Unanimous, I think.
That's fine.
Do we have any declarations of interest? I don't think I have any urgent business. So we now come to the main topic of discussion for this meeting, which is a review of joint street trading policy. So I will now hand over to officers to introduce the report.
Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can all hear me. If not, shout now, please. My name's Laura Driscoll. I'm the licensing team leader, in case you aren't aware who I am.
We can't see you.
Oh, I can see myself. So
the screen. Bear with me a second.
I will hold fire. I know my camera's working, which it didn't used to, but it does work now.
That's the anybody now.
Oh dear.
We can hear you now still.
I think it's known as rebooting.
So I can turn it back on again.
Exactly.
I feel like we need Cliff Richard to give us a song.
I won't do that for you. That would clear the room.
You can sit here next to me. No, we still can't see you. We can hear you though. So.
But we can hear you, so.
I was going to say, shall I carry on? Sorry, sorry, I don't know why the tech isn't working. It does that sometimes, I guess. If you can all hear me, okay, then I'll carry on. And
You can carry on.
Not a problem. Hopefully, maybe it'll work its way out. So good morning, everybody. The purpose of this report today is to bring before you the revised joint street trading policy for approval for consultation. So the officer who's drafted the policy has also prepared a document at Appendix B, which summarises the changes made to the previous policy, which dates back to 2014. I wanted to highlight paragraph 7 of the report, which explains the addition of a section to the policy to better explain how multiple site traders can apply to the council. So in effect, once there's been a consultation on the suitability of a site to host street trading, new traders will be able to apply for consents without the need for a new consultation unless there are changes to the trading days or hours. Another key change is the addition of proposed measures to be taken by traders to minimise their environmental impact in relation to packaging and waste to assist with our climate objectives. As a very brief update to the report, the council now actually has 21 rather than 20 current street trading consents. Of these, 9 cover multiple sites, 6 cover a fixed single site, and 6 are mobile traders, for example, ice cream vans. We're looking to run a 6-week public consultation on the document, which will be sent to current and proposed traders, responsible authorities, councillors, town and parish councils. It'll be open to the public as well for comment. And after that consultation, we'll bring back a report on the results along with a final draft of the policy for approval, hopefully in early February. That's the aim. That's probably all I've got to say. So, but happy to take any questions that there might be.
Right, thanks, Laura. Do we have any questions?
I do.
Councillor Skinner.
I've actually got quite a few questions, but I'll just ask one or two. That's a trivial one to start with. In the glossary, you talk about town councils and parish councils. And I didn't think there was such a thing as a town council in law. My understanding was it's a courtesy title for a parish council with some history. If that is correct, then it seems to me inappropriate to introduce the term into a document.
I think it is common parlance to call it town councils, and town councils, for example, do like to be called town council, though technically you're right, it's a parish council.
I understand.
I don't see any real problem with that.
So I think my point is if this is a document which has the potential to involve legal proceedings at some stage, then it's an unnecessary complication. That it should be kept as clean and simple as possible.
Could I just
Councillor Thomas said.
Could I just suggest that perhaps that could be checked with legal and democratic?
Yeah.
I think there's some nuances for town councils that would be important for this, because being a higher density trading body, I think it's appropriate to keep town council in there.
Well, I'm more than happy that the legal department should review it.
I did it that way, Councillor Skinner.
I couldn't find an actual, what is the purpose of this policy? Is there a statement of that? Is it, for example, to protect the public in any sense? Is it, what generally is the aim of the policy?
So we've got a section 1 which explains the purpose. I think we talk about a balance between the contribution that street trading brings to an area, along with the potential for issues where it's not a suitable location. So I think if you read section 1, purpose of the policy, that sets out what the policy intends to do.
Okay. I mean, as I say, I have other comments. I'll just make one, which is that the Oxford City street trading policy, which I've had some reason to be involved with, has a catch-all that says the trader must conform to all relevant legislation. And since this is an area where enforcement is, generally speaking, difficult and weak, that seems to me to be a good catch-all, which I would recommend we adopt.
I'm trying to recall if we have something about other. I know we talk about not wishing to duplicate other legislation within the document, but I can't remember off the top of my head whether the actual conditions require. Yeah, I think condition 6 it explains that the consent holder has to comply with all statutes, statutory instruments, bylaws, etc., etc. So standard condition 6, I think, hopefully covers that.
Okay, and it says you won't issue a license unless that's the case. Or is it just a sort of general wish?
It's just saying that they have to comply with those. Obviously, if somebody doesn't comply with the conditions of a consent, then we can look to get it revoked. So it's difficult to prove that they're not complying with it if they're a new trader and they haven't started trading at that point, I think. Does that make sense?
Councillor Paulson.
Firstly, apologies for being a couple of minutes late. And I just want to put on record that I'm a member of the Loose Cannon Brewery Members Club, and the Loose Cannon Brewery does have, I think, properly licensed food vendors outside, and then they'd be interested in this topic. It's not a pecuniary interest. Just going back to the point about town and parish council, Councillor Skinner is correct that the legal powers of parish and town councils are the same. But my understanding is the town council is a town council and the parish council is a parish council. But if it's helpful to have that checked out, that's absolutely fine. As to the purpose, and this has been an issue sometimes in Abingdon, yes, it is about basically protecting the public from trading that might go on either in a place that doesn't work for the local population, or particularly at times that the times of it. And certainly there have been issues once or twice in Abingdon where there's been a discussion around what length of time certain street traders should be licensed for. So I think this is it's good that we have a licensing process, but I also support the direction of these proposals. I'm very happy to support them going out because they will actually speed up and simplify the process for particular traders and some premises that regularly have traders, which I think will be helpful without removing any of that protection for the public.
Thank you. Councillor Paulson.
Yes, I've got two questions, one more general and one more pedantic. First one is to do with section 9, which was mentioned, of course. And I mean, part of this, I believe, is to deal with this new situation we're finding where, for example, pubs haven't got room to hold restaurants, and they are looking for pop-up restaurants. And it's obviously very helpful because I think it's a good thing that this should be allowed to go ahead. What I wanted to ask was, has there actually been consultation with those likely to be in that situation and using this, and what's been the response? I know there's a consultation process going out after we had this meeting, but has there been prior consultation, and what the response has been?
There hasn't been a prior consultation at this stage. We're going to be going out to everybody. So what we would intend to do is to ensure that the current sites that have multiple traders rotating will also be included on the consultation with this.
Okay, so we'll wait to see what they actually say.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I think if it assists, section 9 basically just writes down what we are currently doing, if that assists. So, which I'm as far as I understand, that I think the sites are now understanding quite well.
So I think what you're saying was the friction or the difficulty that arose was perhaps there wasn't a complete understanding of the framework within which you
Yes.
Legally had to work.
Yes, that's the view. So hopefully, I think the relationship is improved to my understanding. So hopefully they'll be pleased with what we've set out.
Fine. My more pedantic point relates to 5.4c, which permits the head of communities to refuse any application for consent that does not comply with the council's policy or present conditions, or in particular has been subject to objections from a number of people, including the Thames Valley Police, Oxfordshire Fire and Rescue Service, etc. But I thought that I just felt this was rather a sweeping ability, given that the objections might be fairly minor. Or is this normal, or should there be a sort of a matter of scale applied to this?
I think so. I don't believe that's changed significantly from the previous policy. So that's how it is. I believe, off the top of my head, I'd have to go and double check, but I think that's the same as it is at the moment. I think Diane's got a comment, so maybe I could invite Diane to say something here.
Yes, good morning. Yes, I just like to say that it wouldn't necessarily always lead to a refusal. We would obviously review the responses and yeah, it would be like a scaled approach.
Supposing the head of communities in this unbelievable situation acted unreasonably in sort of taking advantage of, is there a sort of an opportunity for appeal, or is it an absolute prohibition that takes place in those circumstances? But obviously this is judgment, you know, there's an element of judgment here, so judgmental. So, you know, judgments are always subject to review, aren't they? So.
They are, yes, and as part of the process, we would always be making a referral to our legal team as well to get their view. So it wouldn't just be we would consider it a round review. But yes, I believe there is an appeal process.
Thank you very much indeed.
The right of appeal against a refusal, I think, is a judicial review for a street trading consent. So yeah, it would be key that we go through our legal team, definitely.
But wouldn't this be a situation where it might come to a panel?
And potentially, yes, I think that's the next section. If you look at 5.4D, they certainly are able to, or section E, sorry, 5.4E, any applications where valid objections have been received. So I think 5.4C2 would be more where it's very obvious that this site is not suitable.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very obvious. Whereas if there was any doubt, it would be referred under 5.4E, if that helps.
Thank you, Chair. I suppose probably as I sort of get my teeth into this, what I might suggest is you might look at, in fact, in the circumstances where a refusal has been made under C, make it subject to a referral to the panel, because at the moment I don't think as drafted it is. Sorry, could you repeat that? I didn't quite catch that. Subject to referral to? If a refusal is made under C, from my reading, it does not seem to me that that then goes to the street trading panel. That's a decision made by officers. Yeah. And as you know, I have a concern here about, I was going to say reasonableness, but I'm sure you're all very reasonable, but you know what I mean. And I wonder whether there, in this circumstance where a refusal has been made, whether it should be actually referred to a street trading panel, rather than just be left as the next step going to judicial review, which would actually be quite a large hammer to crack that particular nut, would it not? That's certainly a suggestion we can pick up. The alternative, which I know is included within one of the other policies that we have, is that it's a decision made between the head of communities and the chair or vice chair of the panel. I'm trying to think of circumstances where obviously arranging a panel is quite a lengthy and expensive process. So just trying to think whether there's an easier way of doing that, but we'll take that away maybe and have a think, myself and Diane, to see whether we can sort of tweak the wording to better suit. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Do I have any further questions? Councillor Thomas.
Thank you. I was going to just thank officers and whoever's been involved. Obviously, I'm relatively new to this. For the additions that have been put into the policy that incorporate the environmental changes that are regulated for now. So the use of single-use plastic, or the not using single-use plastic, and the guidelines for suitability for applicants, the DDS, and all of those sort of things. I think there's quite a few additions there that really improve the safety of our residents. I don't know what sort of risk it would be, but anything that we can do to sort of minimise any risk or to our residents or the environment, and I think that's been sort of encompassed here, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Gova.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, actually, just my impression was regarding environmental sustainability. It was a little bit kind of, just soft, on the soft side, because we just said mostly talking about that, just traders should be aware about that, and then they should provide their kind of plan how they deal with, just with everything environmental, so packaging, waste, just collecting rubbish and everything else. I'm just wondering, just would it be more structured approach if, the council provided kind of guidance how to deal with those issues rather than waiting for traders, just to provide their views on that? Thank you.
I think some guidance is a really good idea. We're already discussing this with our waste projects officer, a lady called Lucy Kennery. She's been the one who's worked with us on this, so I'll definitely take that back to her and happily provide some guidance so they can understand what we're expecting to see, because of the application form will be changed if this policy is introduced, which will certainly assist. But I think some additional guidance, given it's a new thing, will be vital for the traders. I think you're quite right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have any further questions? Well, I'd just like to thank the officers for what I think was a very good report. And looking at the recommendation, the committee authorises the head of communities to carry out a consultation on the proposed joint street trading policy at Appendix A. Do we have a proposal to support this? Councillor, it will be yes. And do we have a seconder? Councillor Bentley. Could we have a vote on this proposal?
In favour, I'm assuming.
Hmm?
All those in favour, I'm assuming that they felt
yes.
that's
Didn't make assumptions.
Thank you. In that case, I think I can close the meeting.
Susie, could you end the broadcast, please?
Sorry?
Thanks,
Okay.
Susie.